burden of proof. Burden of proof. Burden of proof. What is it? What does that mean when the lawyer says burden of proof? Basically, the burden of proof is the standard you need to overcome to win your case. That is the burden of proof. It's a different burden of proof in a civil trial than in a criminal trial. It's different. In a civil case, whether it be a contract dispute between two business partners or a slip and fall when you're trying to sue the insurance company, that's in that type of situation. In a civil case, the burden of proof is by preponderance of the evidence. By preponderance of the evidence. That's a legal definition. That's a legal term that has a definition. The definition basically boils down to 51%. Preponderance of evidence boils down to 51%. If the judge or the jury believes your side 51% to 49% against the other side, you win the case. So you just got to get above 50%, 51%. They just kind of got to believe you just a bit more. That's totally different than a criminal case. Totally different than a criminal case. In a criminal case, the burden of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, you're going to say, well, what's the definition for beyond a reasonable doubt? I practice law in Texas. And in Texas, there is no legal definition for beyond a reasonable doubt. But this is what I can tell you. I can tell you it's the highest burden that exists. I'm not really going to talk too much about the burden of proof in family law cases, especially in cases where somebody might take your kids away. You know, the court saying, hey, I think this is an unfit parent or anything like that. But understand, in criminal court, the burden's even higher than that. So you got preponderance of evidence in a civil case. And then you got the burden required to take somebody's kids away. And then you got beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt. Some states have a definition for beyond a reasonable doubt. But regardless, it's the highest burden. It's a high burden. It's the highest, okay? And that's what the state, the prosecution, the people trying to say you're guilty of a crime, they need to prove their case, not at that, beyond it. Beyond it. Beyond it. They're at it, no dice. They have to go beyond it. It has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt. High burden. Again, in Texas, there's no definition, but that's what we're presented with. And in trials, this is the things we talk to juries about. These are the things we try to educate them on. We try to say, look, I'm going to throw these weird terms at you. I'm going to throw these terms you never heard before, but I'm going to try to make it relatable. I'm going to try to help you understand it. I'm going to try to help you understand the burden that the state needs to prove to say my client is guilty of a crime. It's a different thing in a civil case. They have different rules and they move a little different because they're trying to prove something a little differently. There's other considerations. But in a criminal case, beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt. Not at a reasonable doubt. Beyond it. All right? They got to go beyond it. That's a little bit about burdens of proof.